saving the local area through mutual assistance.
Now that you mention it, we have a long holiday coming up. Let's go somewhere as a family.
Yeah!
It has been a while, hasn't it? Where shall we go?
I wonder. It's an earthquake!
Oh my goodness!
Everybody be calm. I had this home built to withstand earthquakes. We'll be all right.
Ha ha ha. Is that so? Is self-assistance really enough?
Who are you?
What? Where are we?
I have stopped the flow of time for a moment. Everyone, please pay attention to the earthquake professor. Earthquake professor?
I am the earthquake professor. This is an earthquake research laboratory 30 years in the future.
Hey, it was you I heard just now.
Mr. Taisaku, your family has done its best for self-assistance. But how about mutual assistance?
Mutual assistance?
Well, it looks like you don't even know the word. Looks like it's time for the Taisaku family to learn about mutual assistance. Start the flow of time back up again.
It's the professor.
Before learning about mutual assistance, maybe you should start by reviewing self-assistance, the actions you need to take before anything else to protect yourself by taking a look at the Hamamatsu City Disaster Prevention DVD. Self-assistance will save your life. Data room, can you hear me?
Yes.
Take it from here.
Okay, Professor. First, you must prepare for earthquakes. 1. Make your home earthquake-proof and secure all the furniture. 2. Prepare an emergency stockpile, including a rolling stock of foodstuffs and emergency survival goods. 3. Register for the Hamamatsu Disaster Prevention email. Next, do the following 3 things using the Evacuation Action Plan booklet. 1. Think about emergency evacuation sites and the route you should take. 2. Display your disaster prevention map in an easy-to-see place. 3. Make your own personal disaster prevention card. Then, think about what actions to take when an earthquake actually occurs. 1. Flee to a safe place and keep your head protected. 2. Make use of earthquake early warnings. 3. Once the shaking ends, check that all gas valves are fully closed and circuit breakers are shut off to prevent fires. 4. Evacuate to the emergency evacuation site. But remember that evacuation methods may differ depending on where you are, so use caution. After the earthquake has passed, you should 1. Make use of the disaster emergency message dial, disaster message board, and social networking services. 2. Don't be fooled by rumors or false information. This completes the review of self-assistance.
If the Nankai Trough megathrust earthquake occurs, then widespread damage is likely in the region spanning from the southern Kanto area in Honshu all the way down to Kyushu. You must assume that there will be no outside help. You should also be aware that there is a limit to what the police, fire department, military, and other organizations can do to rescue you, and that you are responsible for protecting your own life.
I thought my self-assistance strategy was perfect, but maybe I forgot some points.
Inexcusable. The DVD is...
Local volunteer rescue teams have this DVD. You can also borrow it from the Crisis Management Division at Hamamatsu City Hall or the Ward Promotion Division at your local ward office, or even view it on the city website.
Yes, exactly. You've forgotten. Watch it again.
Okay.
Now let's get to the explanation of mutual assistance. Mutual assistance is when people within a local region help each other. It means cooperating with neighbors and helping those unable to evacuate right away. Unfortunately, this isn't something your family can do alone. Mutual assistance is... Oh, I'm being called. We'll save this for next time.
Oh no, you can't go.
If we can't do this with just our family, what are we supposed to do?
Chapter 1 Introduction. Why is mutual assistance important?
Yesterday's earthquake was so scary. Yes, it really shook us up. Do you have your emergency supplies ready? Well, we do have an emergency survival bag, but honestly, I just don't know what else to do. Right? Every time we have an earthquake, I think to myself that I really must do something, but nothing ever comes of it. Everyone is just like me. They know to look after themselves, but don't know what else to do. It shook so terribly yesterday. Didn't it just? And isn't Mrs. Suzuki's husband confined to bed these days? I hear she was in a right panic about what to do. It really makes you think. I have bad legs myself, so I worry about what I do if nobody was home. I can't help but think about ending up trapped in my house all alone, with no one coming to help me. I worry the same. Will someone be around to help me in emergencies?
How strong was the earthquake we had yesterday?
It shook pretty hard. I went outside without thinking, but I don't actually know what I should do in an emergency.
Same here, but if something happened, a volunteer rescue team would come save us, right?
I guess so, but they might not be available if nobody's around, like in the middle of the day on weekdays. That's true. We can't just leave everything up to the volunteer rescue teams, can we? Looks like there'll be all kinds of problems. If only a few people do something, it won't be enough. And that's what was on my mind.
I talk to people too, but everyone's worried and unsure about what to do.
Ha ha ha, well, you all seem to be in a bit of a pickle.
Professor!
But worry not, you've already taken the first steps towards mutual assistance.
We have? What did we do?
Why, you took part in get-togethers, like town meetings, welfare groups, and lawn mowing events where local people can get to know each other. Mutual assistance is just an extension of those everyday activities.
So, just normal everyday stuff is the first step?
I do wonder if all that is actually helpful.
All that you say. Outrageous, let me teach you how important it really is. Just take a look at the data on mutual assistance. The data, if you please.
Yes, Professor. The Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake occurred in January 1995 and resulted in the death or disappearance of 6,400 persons. They also say that more than 160,000 persons were buried beneath buildings that collapsed instantly in the earthquake. Among those, some 80% escaped through their own efforts. Statistics show that among the remaining, roughly 35,000 persons who were buried, some 80% were saved by local residents. On the other hand, firefighters and police saved approximately 20% of these persons. As you can see, mutual assistance, the assistance of other local residents, plays an extremely important role during large disasters. My goodness! That's quite the percentage. Furthermore, in the town of Hokudan, near the epicenter of the earthquake, some 2/3 of the houses were partially or completely destroyed. However, neighborhood association members and people from the local area worked with firefighters, and together they were able to safely rescue the roughly 300 people who needed help. Moreover, just 12 hours after the earthquake, the safety of all the residents had been confirmed.
So how do you think they managed that?
Maybe everyone in town knew each other?
Got it in one. In big cities, especially in apartments, some people don't even know who lives next door. But in Hokudan, the neighbors knew who lived where, who lived by themselves, and sometimes even what room they slept in.
Thanks to that knowledge, they were able to rescue people quickly and saved a great many victims.
Which means you can't take this kind of action if you don't talk with your neighbors.
Exactly.
I heard junior high school students played an important role in the aftermath of the Great East Japan earthquake.
Oh yes, the miracle at Kamaishi.
The Great East Japan earthquake occurred in March 2011 and brought a giant tsunami of a size said to come only once in 1,000 years. However, at the elementary and junior high schools in Kamaishi City in Iwate Prefecture, of the approximately 3,000 students, every single one fled to safety, and some 99.8% survived. This was because the students had been trained to evacuate through the disaster prevention education programs and repeated tsunami drills that had been started 8 years earlier. When the earthquake occurred, the junior high school students started to evacuate. At the same time, they shouted, "A tsunami is coming!" They took nursery school kids and elementary school students by the hand, pushed baby carriages, and helped people around them as they evacuated.
That's so cool. I wonder if I could do the same.
Saving those around you while also protecting your own life. I wonder if I'd be able to do that when it came down to it.
Of course, don't forget that your top priority is still to escape.
In 2014, the northern Nagano earthquake hit the area with a maximum intensity of 6 lower, causing landslides and totally or partially destroying many homes in Hakuba and other villages. Yet no one died or went missing during this disaster. The earthquake hit late at night, but the local residents checked on each other and rescued those trapped in collapsed homes, saving many lives in the process. In this case, the prompt action of the local residents on the scene was key. Mutual assistance really is a powerful force. If we can work together and take action while we're waiting for assistance to arrive from the national and municipal governments, we may be able to save more lives.
Spurred into action by a past earthquake in Nagano Prefecture, they made mutual assistance maps for townspeople to use in case of disasters. The map contained information on people requiring assistance during disasters such as disabled or elderly persons. These maps were then jointly shared among the townspeople, and attempts to prepare were made, including determining who would help whom.
I see. This is all connected to making preparations part of your routine and getting to know the neighbors.
Now you get it?
Okay, let's start preparing for mutual assistance.
Yeah, but what should we actually do?
Well, the best way is... explanations are so boring. Go experience it and see for yourself. Let's start from after an earthquake strikes.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Goodness.
Ready? Here we go. Everyone head for the evacuation site at the junior high school. Ha ha ha, if you can make it there.
Okay, let's go check things out. Oh no, the entrance to the house next door is blocked off. Hey, are you okay in there? Mr. Hamada, how many people are in his family again? I can't do this alone. I'll ask Mr. Matsumoto round the back to help. Well, I finally made it. Wow, it sure is crowded. Isn't anyone in charge around here?
Hey, I always go this way, so it's totally fine. This is a pretty good shortcut. Wait, what? The concrete block walls have collapsed and blocked the road. The bridge is gone too.
Hey, come this way. You can get through here.
Are you okay, Mom? Can you stand? Thank you, dear. I can't get around without my cane. This is a problem. I can't get you to the school evacuation site on my own.
¿Dónde el pozo? Y niña está grávida. Ayúdame, por favor.
Oh, you're Carlos from next door. Sorry, what did you say? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Wasn't his wife pregnant? He probably needs help.
Wow, Mom, you really know what's going on around here. But what can we do for him?
El pozo, por favor.
Well, everyone, how did it go?
We didn't make it to the junior high school, but Mom remembered there was an elderly man confined to bed in the house behind us, so we called on him and made sure he was safe.
The young Brazilian man next door seemed in big trouble. He couldn't speak any Japanese, and his wife is pregnant, and he just had no idea what to do.
I ran into a lot of dead ends along the road, so it took a while to get there. Even though it's the way I always go, there were some parts I couldn't get through. But some people came along and helped me, so it was okay.
I saw lots of houses with blocked entrances. I wanted to help the people trapped inside, but I didn't know who lived where, so I couldn't contact anybody. It was completely different from what we just heard about what happened in Hokudan. Meeting people on a regular basis and becoming familiar really is important.
I jotted down some notes here. We have to start making preparations so that the problems we just experienced don't actually happen. If, like the people in the northern Nagano earthquake, everyone in the area can immediately take action, then we should be able to save even more lives.
Just like in the cases we heard, casual acquaintances can be the key to confirming people's safety.
But just knowing someone won't really guarantee mutual assistance in the future, right?
I suppose you're right. It's not enough for just our family to think about this.
That's right. There's a town meeting coming up, so I'll see about making a proposal.
Well, well, I wonder how things will turn out.
Chapter 2. Now, preparing for mutual assistance.
So that's why I think that people living nearby have to help each other in a disaster.
That's true. I thought the same during the last earthquake.
So what should we do?
I've been thinking about this since the last earthquake, and the first thing we can do is make preparations to be able to confirm people's safety. To find out who lives where and how many people live there, we could, for example, decide to hand over neighborhood circular notices in person. We could probably also start checking out evacuation routes.
How are we supposed to do that?
Ha ha ha, sounds like you've got trouble.
Professor!
If you're planning an evacuation route, you should make a disaster prevention map.
Disaster prevention map?
But how?
Well, you see, let's ask Mr. Kobayashi, the director of the Shizuoka Earthquake Preparedness Center.
What? Aren't you going to tell us, Professor?
Pressing business to attend. Okay, you wanted to learn about making a disaster prevention map, correct?
Whoa!
First, start by walking around town.
Walking around town? Oh, I get it. Having a map will help us check evacuation routes.
Okay, let's all decide on a day and have a walk around.
Yes, that's a good idea. Let's get the Children's Association to come too. Kids are always wandering around town, so they probably know a lot.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so next, how do we find out who needs help when evacuating?
We call these people persons requiring special assistance. Don't make it too difficult. All you have to do is take advantage of what you learn from neighborhood association activities. You all take part in activities to care for the elderly, don't you? It's a good idea to write down things that you notice when you do this. For example, the individual needs of each person.
Persons requiring special assistance include pregnant women and foreigners too, right?
I don't understand Japanese very well. I don't know what to do when an earthquake happens. My wife Marie is pregnant. I'm really worried.
Do you have any acquaintances living close by?
Not many.
then you should start by taking part in these types of gatherings. Here, people will get to know you. I also hear some places offer disaster prevention classes for foreign residents.
Learning about disaster prevention?
The Foundation for International Exchange, HICE, also works with the local community to help foreign residents in Hamamatsu by, for example, providing interpreters at disaster drills and translating flyers and bulletins. HICE also offers a disaster prevention class for foreign residents.
Okay, I'll go there.
You are our neighbor. You'll be fine. The Taisaku family will come help you out.
Obrigado.
Just as you saw here, deciding in advance on who will check on persons requiring special assistance makes us all feel more secure. But there's a limit to what you can do with just the people from the neighborhood. You should also consult the volunteer rescue team for your area.
Okay, everybody, let's go.
Oh!
This concrete block wall is a hazard point. Take a picture of it, please.
If the river floods, it could mean big trouble.
This road is too narrow. It's dangerous. This shrine could be used as an evacuation site.
This school will be an evacuation area.
How do we find out the evacuation route from here to the school?
They're writing points up on the map. As they add new locations, they noticed during disaster drills, the map is really starting to take shape. Oh, now they're starting. Dig, good, good. Playing a game of dig which simulates evacuation routes during disasters. Utilizing the map you drew hazard points on will help you stay calm in emergencies.
If we use this map, then we can check the hazard points in advance when planning evacuation routes. But our preparations are still incomplete regarding evacuation areas and helping the local people like we experienced in the professor's virtual tour. Okay, we'll have to try taking part in volunteer rescue team activities like Mr. Kobayashi suggested.
Chapter 3. Suddenly, it's an earthquake. What mutual assistance comes first?
This is Mr. Taisaku, who will be part of our volunteer rescue team today.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Hello!
Today, let's go over what you should do first when a disaster happens. First of all, confirm everyone's safe, call out to people in surrounding homes, and make sure all the family members in those homes are safe. At this point, if someone needs to be rescued, then we start rescue operations. Next, we evacuate. If staying at home is dangerous because of tsunami or landslides, then we first move to an emergency evacuation site and from there to an evacuation area. The most important thing is to protect your own life, and once you yourself are safe, widen your activities to include family, neighbors, and other people. I think it would be a good idea to decide in advance who will check the safety of people in the neighborhood.
That's right. It'll be particularly important how we provide support to persons requiring special assistance.
Let's use the map that we made. The map already contains the information from our last check, but is there any new information?
The old lady living in this house broke her leg recently and has trouble walking. She's requesting assistance.
If her house is safe, then it'll be okay just to check she's safe. But in case we need to evacuate, then we had better ask her to keep her wheelchair ready.
People have to prepare things like wheelchairs?
That's right, we ask everyone to prepare the necessary items for evacuation in advance.
Oh, really? My mother has a bad leg, so I'll guess we'll need one too.
Mr. Taisaku, there are persons requiring special assistance in your house?
Yes, that's right. There's also a foreigner next door whose wife is pregnant. An old man in the home behind us is confined to bed.
So that means we have several persons requiring special assistance around here.
I feel uneasy because there aren't many people around to help during the daytime. If I happen to be at home, then everything would be fine, but...
In that case, why don't we ask Mr. Hamaguchi at the factory here? That's right, a lot of young people work here.
You mean ask the factory? Isn't it just a regular company?
That's right. We ask local companies to provide all kinds of support during a disaster. For instance, we ask this supermarket here to provide relief goods. We ask this company here to provide temporary evacuation shelter space. And we ask the factory behind your house to give support to persons needing special assistance during disasters that happen during the day. This factory also has foreign workers, so they might be able to provide interpreters, and lots of people work there during the day, right?
Wow! So that's how you work. You cooperate with companies and not just people. Speaking of cooperation, if I come across someone who needs to be rescued while I'm checking on everyone's safety, but I can't help them by myself, do I contact the volunteer rescue team?
Well, that depends. If it's a situation where every second counts, then you won't be able to wait for the volunteer rescue team. So you will need to get cooperation from people around to help right away. Ha ha ha. That is what we call neighborhood assistance.
Neighborhood assistance?
I've called someone who knows all about it, so you can ask Mr. Matsushima from Komatsu Yawata Volunteer Rescue Team.
Leaving it up to other people again.
I am a busy man.
This neighborhood assistance is somewhere between self-assistance and mutual assistance.
What does that mean?
Doing what you can to help yourself is self-assistance. Helping each other within a district or area through, for example, neighborhood associations is mutual assistance. Neighbors living close to each other helping each other is called neighborhood assistance and is somewhere between self-assistance and mutual assistance. As the closest aid to the site of the disaster, neighborhood assistance is the most effective means for checking on people's safety and for starting rescue operations.
I see. Things start to run smoothly once neighbors decide to help each other out.
That's right. So if the volunteer rescue team is the core of mutual assistance for a district or area, we decided to form a neighborhood disaster response team as well in Komatsu Yawata, where I live, for putting neighborhood assistance in place.
Neighborhood disaster response team?
Yes, these experimental units are formed from the houses directly next door and opposite to a home and are units of 15 to 20 people formed from 3 to 5 homes. Their role would be to provide reliable checks on people's safety and convey information during times of disaster.
So forming these small units to serve as relay points means no one will be overlooked.
A particular merit of neighborhood assistance is that people who live nearby are easy to stay in regular contact with, and it's easy to keep in mind how many people are in each family. The basic idea of the neighborhood disaster response team is that everyone knows each other so they can check that they're safe. It's important to be aware that everyone is in this together and that everyone should get help as well as give help. Maybe the next disaster drill should be done on this neighborhood unit level.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What kind of disaster drill?
The volunteer rescue team for the area holds disaster drills to practice the first course of action when a disaster actually happens. Everyone goes to the homes they are responsible for to check if people are safe. Other practice includes safety checks of groups at evacuation areas and rescue activity using whatever is available. For example, making a stretcher out of a blanket. The most important thing is to do what you can without putting yourself at risk. It would be no good if it led to more damage or injury.
I never took part in these drills, but I'll come along to the next one.
Great, by all means come and help.
It seems like going to practice drills and getting the skills and knowledge is really important. If you talk to others about how to work in neighborhood groups and then stay in touch on a regular basis, you won't panic in the aftermath of a disaster.
Chapter 4. After the Disaster. What is life like after evacuation?
This road looks like it might get blocked.
We'd better check our evacuation route with the neighborhood disaster response team next time.
Having a neighborhood disaster response team around will make Carlos and his wife feel a lot safer too.
If anything happens, the folks in the factory out back will come to help you out, Mom.
Oh goodness, isn't that nice? How reassuring. It looks like we're all prepared up to this point, but I still have no idea what happens at the evacuation area.
But we'll totally have to go after a disaster, right? It could be a real mess if no one has it together.
I'd be a little nervous about living in a strange place surrounded by other people.
Yeah, let's ask the volunteer rescue team. I was just thinking it would be a good idea to talk to them with some of the neighborhood association members. How about you come along with me, dear? You could ask for advice on your worries.
Good idea. Let's go meet them.
So we'll have to live at the evacuation area after all.
Yes.
It's
a real worry.
I see you're all worried about this. It might be a good idea to learn about life at evacuation areas. I'll explain all about it. Okay, ask Mr. Iwata, a teacher at the Center for Integrated Research and Education of Natural Hazards.
Leaving it up to other people again.
So you want to learn what kind of place the evacuation area is, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If you ask people who have lived in evacuation areas what was unpleasant about their experience, their answers include easily feeling very stressed due to lifestyle and emotional factors such as having to sleep in a huddle, having no private space, always feeling watched, difficulty with lifestyle needs for the elderly, disabled, or young children, difficulty going to the toilet, and the possibility of criminal activity.
It sounds pretty tough. Everyone has to live together constantly feeling afraid and insecure.
To make life at an evacuation area easier, it is important to decide how to behave in different situations. For example, you have to be willing to give and take, to be considerate of old people and people with disabilities, and keep shared spaces such as toilets clean.
I'm really worried about whether we'd be able to do all that. But we've nowhere else to go.
Hold on a minute. You might not necessarily have to go to an evacuation area unless your house has collapsed or there's a risk of landslides or other similar problems. You can continue to live in your own home.
Really?
Is that true?
That's right. If you can confirm it is safe, then you can keep living there even without electricity or water. If you want to keep updated on information, get any items you're short on, or help the volunteer rescue team, then you can go to the evacuation area.
That makes sense. Our house does have everything we need, and leaving it unprotected is a worry.
Come to think of it, that's why we've prepared a 7-day supply of food and other items. Hearing we can stay at home as long as it's safe makes me feel a little better. Yes, that's nice.
If your emergency food supply runs low, a group like the volunteer rescue team will request the evacuation area to provide the required quantity. Of course, supplies are limited, so they might not be able to provide everything you want.
I wonder who will be preparing and distributing these goods. And who will be supervising these tasks?
Surely both of those will be done by City Hall employees, right?
Wrong.
What? Oh, Professor! And he's angry!
Opening up the evacuation area is done by city workers, but running the place is done by you people.
What? Really?
Local people run the place using this. These manuals are available from the volunteer rescue team and at locations that will be used as evacuation areas.
An evacuation area management manual? I see. There are steps for assigning who gets what job, the first things that need to be done, and other useful information.
I was thinking we could use this manual to assign roles. Today, the evacuees will run the center, supported by the volunteer rescue team and city workers. Everybody, let's all work together.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if we can really do it.
I'm not very strong and don't have much stamina. I don't think I'll be much help.
That's not true. Women are vital at evacuation areas. Let's ask instructor Kunisaki for details on life at evacuation areas.
Living in an evacuation area with so many people is extremely difficult. Women in particular face a number of delicate issues that make things particularly difficult. They have to worry about many things. For example, changing clothes or going to the toilet, and if they have a baby, breastfeeding or getting hot water for the baby's milk. There are many cases where having a woman as one of the leaders of an evacuation area meant that women could talk more easily with someone who understands their problems from the same perspective and work to resolve the problem. This helped the management of the whole evacuation area to run smoothly. When appointing the leaders of the evacuation center, it is essential to include women.
Women are extremely important for making evacuation areas easier to live in.
I always thought disaster prevention was men's work, but there's a lot that women can do too. Delicate situations like changing clothes, going to the toilet, and dealing with underwear can be difficult to talk about with men. Some things like breastfeeding and being pregnant are experiences that only women have, so not everything should be left to men.
Well, it seems you've changed your minds. Why don't we all play a game? That simulation of the evacuation area thing.
Oh, do you mean HUG, the evacuation area management game?
That's right. You can take it from here.
He left again. What is this HUG?
It's a game for simulating the management of evacuation areas. It lets you make decisions on where to place people with different circumstances, including age, sex, and nationality, within the evacuation center and experience how to deal with different situations that may arise. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Mr. Gulls, this Brazilian family includes 3 people, an 18-year-old woman, and a 46-year-old man and a 75-year-old man. Where do you place these people?
Should we place all the foreign residents together? Thinking about Carlos, he'd probably like to be near people he knows, right? This simulation makes it easy to understand how to make preparations at the evacuation area. Spreading awareness about disaster prevention like this and making sure everyone knows what they should do should help reduce damage and suffering caused by disasters.
Chapter 5. Step Up. The power of mutual assistance makes you the helper.
And so the preparations for managing the evacuation areas are well underway. Tusku, junior high students are also an important force.
What? Us too?
That's right. A lot of the time, adults are restricted because they need to take care of young children or the elderly. That's when we need strong, fast, and smart junior and senior high school students to help. From taking care of younger children to cleaning up, there are all kinds of things they can help with.
I don't know. It sounds a bit much.
To be honest, I feel the same. I'm not sure whether or not we can do everything we've learned about in an actual disaster.
Ha 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 ha. Then how about you deepen your knowledge by getting some training or qualifications in disaster prevention? Now, can you give us some guidance on this?
Yes, Professor. In Shizuoka Prefecture, they offer Home of Mount Fuji Disaster Prevention Expert training, aimed at university students and higher. This is a course for mastering specialist knowledge of disasters and creating individuals who can act as leaders in times of disaster. You will receive the title of Shizuoka Prefecture Home of Mount Fuji Disaster Prevention Expert after completing 80% or more of the required courses. There are also other qualifications, such as the Japan Disaster Prevention Expert. There is also the Home of Mount Fuji Disaster Volunteer Coordinator qualification. Their role is to serve as an intermediary between victims and volunteers, making sure that volunteer activities provide effective support for the local people in disaster-stricken areas.
Hey, Tasku, try getting a qualification when you enter university.
In his case, why not consider the Home of Mount Fuji Junior Disaster Prevention Training course aimed at high school students or younger? This is a course that takes around 1 day and is designed to deepen knowledge of disaster prevention so that young people can join disaster prevention activities with local residents in a large-scale disaster.
That would totally give me more confidence. I'll look it up online.
When leaders with these qualifications take charge, evacuations probably run much more smoothly.
Yeah, qualifications and training look helpful to have. But I don't think I can find the time to take them.
Okay, why not try an on-site course where city employees come out directly to your local area to give instruction? This way you can learn whatever you need, from basic disaster prevention knowledge to using methods like the hug and dig games to think about what needs to be done in a large-scale earthquake. You only need to get 10 people together to apply for one of these classes.
Maybe I'll invite everybody and apply for an on-site course.
That's the spirit. Well, did you all learn a little bit about mutual assistance? Have you remembered everything we've taught you so far?
Mutual assistance means helping each other in the local area.
Mutual assistance is an extension of our everyday lives.
First, protect your own life. Then help others around you.
Get to know people in your neighborhood so that you can protect each other's lives in a crisis.
Excellent. I'll also leave a DVD with you so you don't forget anything. It would be good to show it to different people in the area, like the volunteer rescue team and your neighbors. Using all this as reference, be considerate in your daily interactions, boost your mutual assistance capability, and prepare for the megathrust earthquake that they say could happen any day.
Yes, sir.
From now on, we'll make preparations for mutual assistance as well as self-assistance. Professor, thank you so much. But why did you come to our home in particular?
Well, you see, within the next 30 years, a big earthquake.
Well then, we really must be going right away. Please do excuse us. Don't forget what you learned here today and keep mutual assistance in mind. And don't forget to keep an eye out for Carlos and his wife and their cute little girl.
Thank you very... And they're gone.
But how strange that she'd call Carlos's baby a cute little girl. The baby hasn't even been born yet.
Now you mention it.
Tomoe, Maria, over here, over here. Say cheese. Tomoe, look at the camera.
This time, let's take a picture with everyone in it. Oh, that'd be lovely. Do you mind?
Hey, Tasku, hurry up.
Carlos, you speak Japanese so well now.
That's because I studied it.
Oh, Professor, I've had it with you. I've told you you can't talk about things in the future.
Oops, sorry.
But everything worked out. Thanks to the mutual assistance from everyone, my parents and I were able to survive the earthquake.
Indeed, it's all thanks to mutual assistance. Come along, Tomoe. Let's move on to the next town.
Yes, sir.